So this is Chaz. He's coming towards the end of his training now. This is the horse that was obviously here before. Had to go home, as I've already said, due to his caps on his teeth. But he finished his training. He was absolutely mint perfect. There's films on YouTube of him, lovely. Anyway, whilst he was away, something's happened. What it is, I don't know. And we never will know, because I can only tell you what the owners tell me, that nothing's happened. So, go on, baby. Go on, babe, when you go. So we're downtown for the first time. Not for the first time, but with him in single now. And this is his final film, really, you know, just bringing up to date. But he has been here a long while now. He's been here a long while, which I have no control over. I thought he'd come back for training and be, you know, 3 weeks on the outside, because he was absolutely perfect. So it's just, you know, with COVID and my knee operation, it's ended up being 2 years or coming 2 years that he hasn't been in harness. So you need a little refresher of a couple of weeks just to bring him back to where he was. Got no problem with his teeth now, because all the caps have, you know, been taken care of. So come on. So we're downtown in the traffic, so we're going to head to a couple of roundabouts. The one we've just come partially round, and then Tesco's roundabout, which is a great big 4-lane one. So he's going along quite happily. And this, he soaks up really nice on his bit. I'm not, you know, I'm just letting him jig-jog along at the moment. We've come in about 4 miles, and we've had a walk and a trot on the way in. And you can see he's going lovely and sound and happy with his job. I'm not worried about the traffic. This bridge here is a good teller of horses, funny enough. You've got 2 things. See the lorry park, there's a lay-by there, the lorry shoes. And then you get people walking over the top. So when there's people on the top, horses can be frightened. But going under any bridge, horses get a bit, or can get a bit uptight. Fortunately, in the arena, we had a tunnel to go through, which is real tight and claustrophobic, really, for a horse. Go on, come on, darling. And you get these lovely big lorries that you see on a slack rein. They just come right alongside it. No trouble at all. Good boy. So he's a nice thing. Whatever happened to him, I don't know. And I'd love to know, because his behaviour, certain things are etched in his memory. You know, he doesn't forget. Like, for instance, give you 2 or 3 examples. You know, we drag a metal sheet. Well, he drags a metal sheet, don't even think about it. So, the first time we put it down, we put it off the back of the cart, and then within 2 minutes less, we took it off the back because he had no reaction at all. And we hung it down the front, directly behind his feet. We're running just between the swingle tool and the first axle, you know, his front axle, and no reaction whatsoever. So that's a walk, trot, make no difference to him. So he hung on to that. So you see, with these eye-sided things that he was bothered about before, he's not worried. I don't mean to say he's never going to be worried, is it? I mean, obviously, if you get a combination of stuff where you've got like a big old truck coming past here now. Come on, baby. I thought he was coming round here. I pulled the pony over. Give the man plenty of room. He's gone on straight on round the roundabout. So you can see he's coping perfectly well with everything going on. But other things, sorry, getting back to what I was saying, so dragging the metal, no problem whatsoever. pressure washer. You know, we wash them with pressure washer, like temperature controlled. So it's not a steam cleaner, it's a pressure washer. So you control the pressure, you can control the heat of it. It's ideal for washing horses off, gets right down to their skin and keeps them nice and clean. Also, we put into it like a disinfectant, so that if they've got any little nicks or marks that they get, you know, straight away, they're washed every time they go out. So, you know, if they've got any little nicks, scratches, marks, anything like that, brush themselves behind, whatever, it gets the disinfectant on it straight away. So we just pulled off here so that we can have these big old things come through like this one here. That's lovely. Stand still, bud. So a great big lorry like that, that's the prime example. He lifted his head up, saw the lorry, but done nothing, just stood there. So that's fine. So the other thing is, like, that he's not forgot, or took a set of harness into his stable, straight away drops his head down to have his collar put on. So obviously he had no problem with them sort of things. And there's other things as well, when when you've got him and you're asking him to go from walk to trot, was okay, trot to trot on, and but there was something that just weren't sitting right with him. He had his head on one side, so he's hanging his head to his near side. Now often you get that with ponies that have been shown. Now, because obviously they're led, and if they're trotting on a bit, when they're showing them off, if the runner can't keep up, or whoever's showing it can't keep up with it, they obviously put pressure on one side of the mount more than the other. And that can work that way, that they just lay their head that way. But he'll stand here as quiet as a lamb. And he's lovely, he's back to where he was. It's just that I would love to know, if I had to say, you know, what do I think? Well, what I thought was that he'd had some sort of incident, like being long-ranged, or something, you know, because when they have an incident, I'm using long-range as an example, could be anything, and they get uptight. So say, for instance, they get uptight and they run into a barrel, you know, one of them big plastic barrels people have in their arenas, or, you know, like that, to jump over sometimes, or just as an obstacle, or walk between, or that type of thing. When they get caught up in that and have a bump, it doesn't mean to say they'll be frightened of barrels. You know, something happens to them, it doesn't mean they'll be frightened of being long-ranged. But something that would happen to them can come out in all different ways. So basically they lose their confidence in everything, and they can go two ways. They see that there going down there, now that lorry's really moving, especially for in town, and a queer looking thing, isn't it? It's the tractor unit off of an Arctic, so you won't hear it on there, but because he's got no weight on his back springs, on his axle, it's got a clonking, bumping noise as it comes past. These cameras are all right, but, you know, when I listen to them and look at the films, it's surprising how little noise they pick up. Obviously visual, they're perfect, but noise they pick up. So I would say something's not gone right with him, but the people assure me that he's, you know, nothing's happened at all, everything's been fine. But something must have happened to have changed him, to lose all that lovely confidence he had. And bringing it back has been very hard, and that's what takes the time. So he's been here a lot of weeks to get him right. Stand still, baby. I mean, just look at his mouth, for instance, here. I mean, look at all that lovely soap in his mouth there, look. Yeah? Well, Pete, horse can't make that if you're hanging on his mouth, can he? Obviously, because he can't move his tongue. So he's moving his tongue, and he's making this, he's turning his saliva to foam. So he's chomping away on his old bit, you know, and playing with it as he's going along. I'm perfectly happy. And as you know, they're only soft rubber bits. That's all we ever use. Regardless of what the problem is with the horse, if it's a runaway, been involved in an accident, we still only use that. The day I've got to put a curb chain on and a lump of metal in its mouth to control it, you know, then I'll give the job up. You know, all the horses I do are done with. I don't mean that in a conceited, big-headed way at all. I'm just saying that surely, if I can control them in this environment here and all the environments you see with a soft rubber bit, then why wouldn't I? Soft rubber bit, it's not as heavy as a metal bit, it's not cold, it's not uncomfortable in the mouth. I mean, the ones we have actually bend right in half, just with 2 fingers you can bend them. We manufacture one of our own, but they're very, very expensive to have made. And we have to have somewhere around 50 to 100 made at a time to get the price reasonable, but still, you know, they're over £70 to produce each, you know, then there's VAT and everything. So we got some others that we use, that we buy in, that we've found certain ones are perhaps better than others, but you can't guarantee that. You know what part of the world they're made in, so you can't guarantee that. If you've got someone in England making you something, you can go and visit them, see what's going into it, etc. So anyway, getting back to this dear little pony, lovely little pony. I like I like all of them really, I love them all, but I like a fell pony, you know, they're good, nice and strong, so if you've got a 4-wheeler and 6 people, they can take it. You know, they can take the weight, they're very hardy, they're good doers, you know, they enjoy their food, and what's it, I mean, he looks lovely, he looks well. But I don't, you know, it does, I keep getting back to this, I'd love to know what's happened. And if, like, we had another lady, she'd had her horse and had an incident with a motor car. Well, she told us exactly what happened. Well, it made the time that the horse was with us a lot less, because there's lots of things she mentioned about. She was, you know, she mentioned loads and loads of things that happened, like where it was, what was the foliage on either side of the road, the fact that there was a ditch there, the fact that there was a lot of gravelly bits on the road. You know, it's one of them sort of ones where the stones come out the side of the road because the lorry goes down there and flicks them out a bit. So there's always stones over the road, it's a country lane, windy, like that. So, and she said a car come along really fast, stopped by the side of it, and it accelerated away quickly. And the horse spun round and, you know, nearly had her off, you know, could have been really bad. So when she told me all that, there was loads of things there. The fact that there was a ditch. Now, did the horse know there was a ditch? You could certainly see a dip, couldn't he? Stones on the road, so the noise of tyres, you know, when they're flicking up stones is a lot different. You know, the foliage, like it was the time of year it was when it happened. It would have been early spring, I believe, that time. I'm not sure about that, but, you know, she was telling me every mortal thing, so then you can use that and think, right, now obviously on this road there could have been something happened the other day to us, which is lovely. So someone, which happens all the time where we are anyway, throwing stuff out of a motor car. So they're throwing rubbish out of the motor car, so they throw a can, you know, a drinks can out of the motor car. A car's gone over it and squashed it flat. I come along, yeah, and I saw it at the last second on the road. It was quite a dark coloured can, you know, the writing on it. And the horse put his foot on it and he slipped badly, you know, his foot went out to the side and slipped badly because it was acted like a roller skate under his foot. So, you know, that type of thing. On this road there would have been a certain amount of debris, rubbish and stuff people chuck out of motor cars as well. So she explained it really well, which cut, although the horse was here a while getting his confidence back, it cut the time down to what it could be. And like we produce horses, so if you bring us a horse that you can pick its feet up and you can tie it up, yeah, that's, and it's 3 years old, we don't take them before they're 3. Well, 80, I think Ree worked it out to, it was virtually 90%. It's 88 point something percent of horses are done in 6 weeks. But if people tell you exactly what's happened, now, some people will tell you what's happened and not tell you one silly little thing that could make so much difference. But everybody thinks it relates, but it don't. Just say, for instance, a horse slips and hurts itself, goes down, you know, it can happen anytime. Well, it could have slipped on a manhole, which you'd think automatically the horse would be wary of manholes, which obviously would be true in some cases, or maybe the majority of cases. But also what's true, if while it done it, there was someone with an umbrella or a blue convertible motor car, they'd also think that caused it. You know, they don't work like our brain works. So, you know, that type of thing. But we don't, you know, I don't know. But you can't get a pony better than this. He does the arena again now. He goes in the river. He stands on the motorway bridge. And we've got him back to where he was when he left here 2 years ago. Like that, for instance. And that's making a funny old noise and it looks strange. You know, if it draws your attention as a human being, definitely going to draw a horse's attention. You know, definitely. There was a girl the other day, a young lady that lives in the village, was coming out of the village, wanted to talk to me, had her window down, put her head out, and she had great big dark glasses on, really big ones. And the horse, you know, I was driving, looked, he thought, what's that, you know? You know, really looked, it looked strange. But it looks strange to me, but I know they're a pair of sunglasses. Horse don't know, does it? You know, you don't know, oh, what's, you know, they look different, that person. We get a lot of, in Stockbridge, which is a small town near us, we get a lot of vintage cars and great big powerful motorbikes, and they have a meeting there, you know, like a club thing, you know, and like that. But obviously when that's on, we go down there because there's, let's look at this for instance. Now you can see down there, the fella coming up there. Now you can't hear that, but if he was in a convertible or on a bike, a push bike's good, because as he's coming up there, all the concrete's turning round inside, so it's making a noise of the mixer going, but takes no notice. So how can we make him any better than what he is now? But had I have known what's happened, something must have caused him. He didn't lose all his confidence, that's to leave it for a reason, you know. Look at this motorbike here, look. No reaction at all. How can I make him any better than that? You know, to get him back, because he was a nervous wreck. And some of them that get nervous can go too, they can go in their shell, do you know what I mean? Go away, be in the stable, really quiet, very, very timid. The other way they can go is become aggressive. And they say he was aggressive to other horses. And he bit some and upset people on the yard, etc. As I understand it. Well, but he come into the yard, he come back in the yard after 2 years, and there's horses got their heads all over the door. He walked past them, and he's never done one thing that's aggressive to another horse in any way, shape or form since he's been with. Not one thing. Nothing at all. There was a horse the other day, you know, was in the stable and he got loose and he was walking around the stable. But this horse never bothered or, you know, put his ears back at him or anything at all. So answer me that. Yet on the yard he lives on, he's been very vicious and bullyish with other horses, you know. So I don't know. So we're going to go on down to Tesco's roundabout, but this is the end of his film, you know, really. And I can't do any more than I've done. But as you can see, he's perfect, you know. Or as near as I can make him perfect anyway. I can't do any more for him. Rub a bit, stand there all day, happy as you can be. So it's very, very hot today, mine. Okay. Good boy. there's a prime example. You see all that stuff on the back, just on the front edge of it, it's got, like, on the bottom of the pallets, it's got polythene flapping. Yeah? And I could hear it, so he could definitely hear it, you know, his hearing's better than mine. But there you are. And a lorry like that, there, a flatbed lorry with a load, half a load on it like that, is unusual to see. You know, 80% of horses are fixed sides, either curtain side or solid. So just going along happily, this is Tesco's roundabout coming up now, big old roundabout, a good one, goes 3 lanes of traffic and, you know, to go onto the roundabout and 4 lanes on there, you know. So, steady my baby boy, yes you are, you little sugar plum, you good baby. It don't, I would say it don't hurt me, it don't hurt me, no, don't hurt me, that's the wrong word, but upsets me, you know, when you put all that work into them. And it is a serious lot of hard work. You know, we try and get inside each horse's head to know how it works, how it thinks, and then we try and work with that to get the best we possibly can out of them, right? Come on, baby, let's go. So here we are now, we're going to come over into traffic to the middle lane. Come over, darling, there's a good baby. And I love to do this with them because, well, unfortunately we're not going to get stopped by the lights, I wouldn't think. Maybe we will, we won't go too far. Try and get pulled up by them. Which the beautiful thing is, like here now, we've got them coming both sides, haven't we? A nice van come up the inside of them. Now that's nice to do, because obviously that don't happen to any great extent, does it? Come up, baby. Come up a bit. Good boy. You just stop there now, oh my darling baby. But it does, yeah, it's you feel like sorry for the horse when the horse has achieved so much and done so well, like you see on his old films. I mean, what Re'll do is she'll put some sort of notification up so you can watch the other films when he was here as a 3-year-old, you know, 3 coming 4. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant, you know, beautiful. Do everything you asked him to do with no problem at all, you know. Go on, babe, get up. Come on in, darling. On you go. On you go. Come on. There's a good boy. So we change lanes again. Come over, darling. That's it. You good boy. Yes, you are. And it does, yeah, it does, yeah, upsets you, of course it does, because, you know, you work together, you become mates with them, you become friends with them. You've got to have that communication to achieve what we achieve here. You can't expect horse to you know, like, believe in you, you know, unless you're going to give them the time, and they all want different sorts of time. Some of them need a bit of a cuddle, some of them don't want that. You know, they want you at a distance, you know, but they still doesn't mean they don't want your own children, and you've got children. Some of them need a cuddle, some of them don't. Don't mean to say you don't love them and they don't love you, but, you know, some of them just need that kind word. Some of them need, hey, come on, get on with your own work, that type of thing, you know, and they're happier with that. That's what they need to know. So as I say, you know, he's a lovely, lovely pony. For anyone to own, he couldn't get a better one. You know, tell me another horse to do what he does. After having a bad time and losing all his confidence that he had, you know, you'll see in the other film, you know, he's oozing with confidence. And nothing to do because he's young. It's just how we do them, we train them. We don't take them till they're 3. At least let their joints get a bit stable, you know, like they want to have their 3rd birthday or something like that. So if they're born in August, we don't want them till August. But we don't have like January the 1st, when all horses have the same birthday. That's crazy, isn't it? It's like race horses. So they've been born like in, I don't know, June. and they're racing them as 2-year-olds. Well, their 2-year-old is like January the 1st, isn't it? Of the following year. Come on, up we. Good lad. Well, darling, that'll do. Just stand there. There's my baby boy. Yes, you are. All right, my darling. Okay, walk, baby. It's funny, there's hardly any traffic round today. But it's a Tuesday, I think it's Tuesday. There's a bus up the inside of it, that's nice. But I love buses for training. Because, you know, two things. When they come past, they're like a mobile mirror, aren't they? The horses can see themselves. And the other thing is the engine's in the back. So they see the bus and then the engine afterwards. Right. Up you go, babe. There's a good boy. So I'll come up into this lay-by another one now to let the traffic go. And I'll bring him over here as close as I dare is about there. Only because some things you get might have a rope hanging off or one of them ratchet strap things. But if they're flapping about in the air and they smack the horse's head or something, it hurts him, wouldn't it? So, you know, that's about as close as you can safely get. You often see a lorry going up the road with a ratchet strap hanging off the side and flapping about. Walk on, darling. Walk on. There's a good boy. Come on in. Come on, babe. So like this lorry here, for instance, you know, come over, darling. Come over, my baby. So, you know, no problem at all. This is a lovely roundabout. I love this roundabout. You know, it's got the old cobblestones in the middle. You can go over the top. And that's a good confidence builder for a horse. You know, a big confidence builder, that is. There's another roundabout up here which has got like a brick paving around the outside. A lot of them have now. And you get horses like, they won't go on it. You know, they've not seen it before, don't understand it, don't believe it's a solid surface, whatever they go through their little, you know, minds, you know, that puts them off it. Well, they're lovely things for training. And when we get up here, you'll see it. Come on, my baby boy. Yes, you are a good lad. Come on. Good boy. I'm so proud of this pony. I know I'll get a bit emotional, but I am proud of him, you know what I mean? What he's been through, and how when he come back, you know, he was a different horse entirely. Come over, Don. Different pony entirely. He was, you know, he was just lost everything he had. You know, it just really, oh mate, it's heartbreaking. You know, it seriously is. So this roundabout is funny. Like you got a man over here, you go over here, and then on this roundabout you got this paving. Look, see. Come on, baby, on you come. That's my darling. Good boy, go on, up you go. Go on, mate, up you go. Lovely. Good boy. And you've got a lot of roadworks, not roadworks, but there's a big site here. They're doing an industrial estate, new buildings going up, which is obviously the services are going in now, you know. So, go on, baby, up you go. And nice for them to see all the piece of pea. Is a lovely thing. Like now, for instance, there's this fella with his digger. Go on, babe. Put the digger up in the air, look. The bucket's upside down, look. The bucket's supposed to be the other way up. Go on, up you go. Come on. Good boy. Go on. I love this little estate here. It's better than the one the other end of town. I don't know why, but there's always something going on, like the big old boxes out there wrapped up in polythene. Another day you come, sometimes I've seen them on the pavement with one of these screens round them ready to be loaded, you know, when there's lots of stuff coming out of this place. You know, there's all different things going on all the time. There's somewhere on here, I think it's on here somewhere, they do shot blasting and that. They certainly make a noise anyway. Up there they make trusses for roofs and the machinery is quite noisy. So the road's very quiet unless you get vehicles coming up it. And then all of a sudden you'll hear like a lot of funny noises. You know? And obviously Hills can hear better than we can, so go on my darling, up you go, there's a good boy. There's a good boy, yes you are. Go on. Go on boy. That's it. Yeah, and I'm proud as punch of him, what he's done, and you know what he's. Takes a lot when you've lost your nerve with anything. Anyone doing anything. If you've lost your nerve, you find it hard, you know, to get back up and do like when you fall off horse, I suppose they say you get straight back on. That's all right for the person who's telling you to do it. Come on baby, up you go. Yes, you are a good boy. Yes, you are a good boy. So I've got a little bit here, so there's no yellow lines, so I can just park here by this. Come over there, darling. No, we're not going on. We're going up here. Walk up. Just walk. Just walk. And walk. Stand. Good boy. So, you know, he's happy just to stand there now. Before we go home, we give him a little rest to 10 minutes. We'll have a sip of coffee and we'll give him a little drink. Which we'll, you know, give him a little drink in a minute. I can do the filming of it, look. I'm allowed to hold the camera, would you believe it? I'm never allowed to do this. He's sick and tired of me doing it. One day, downtown Cloud, the schoolmaster, he picked hold of that bucket and tipped it all over him. Right over him. Just picked hold of this side of it. You can't let them have too much drink, but what we do now, we pour a bit of water over their backs, you know, like that. And just cool them down. It's a real hot day, you know. So that's what we do. I'll better run this camera back now.